All right, hiking fans. Today is day 149 on the CDT, and the camera's close because it's windy, and I don't know. I mean, it's not windy down here; it's up there. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but I think this is going to be a quick update. However, it's going to be action-packed. I got a text message the first thing this morning when I woke up. Dino was up throwing up all night last night. Could be food poisoning, could be the flu, but essentially he couldn't hike out today. So I thought that delaying a day to avoid the nasty weather on Thursday with 100% precipitation meant that I was going to get to hike with someone, not solo, in grizzly bear country in Glacier National Park. But also I thought I was going to have nice weather. So second item, the wind has been with us all day today. The forecast called for sunny skies, no precipitation, and gusts up to, I think, like 40 miles per hour wind. The wind came true. I went over two 7,000 foot points today, and our passes, I think one was a pass, one was a scenic view or something. It was windy on both of them, like strong enough where I had to put my trekking pole on the ground, brace myself, and just stand there for a few seconds while the wind blew. Also, it was sunny this morning to begin the day. During my first ascent, I started getting to the top, and I noticed, hey, there's some clouds over yonder, over those mountains in the distance, and they're just swirling around. Like, they've parked there and they're just kind of moving around, but they're not getting blown out by the wind, even though the wind is pretty strong. And the wind wasn't strong just where I was hiking. You could see clouds in the distance, like moving very quickly. So the wind up there was also strong, but for some reason there was some kind of, I don't know, circular motion around these mountains that kept the clouds parked over them. And lo and behold, those mountains actually had the second pass that I went over. So that was a bit unfortunate. As I was hiking up the second pass, I looked over to the left and I could see there was fresh snow on a couple of the mountains. So throw out that no precipitation thing for today, because there was definitely precipitation. It wasn't on me, thankfully, but it was in the area. The clouds look like precipitation, and those clouds over there look like, and the smell of the air and the air temperature, everything smells like snow. So I'm really hoping that I do remember that the forecast called for partly cloudy skies tonight, so I'm hoping it's just cloudy skies, not going to dump precipitation either now or tonight, and this stuff gets blown out, and then we're supposed to have clear sunny days for the next 3 days, clear sunny weather for the next 3 days, and I hope that's true. Like, I delayed Wednesday on the really bad forecast because I didn't want to hike through the park sopping wet and trying to like dry out my stuff in, like, yeah, it's sunny, but it's like 55 or 57 degrees. Like, trying to dry damp or wet stuff in degrees of 50s even though it's sunny is a bit difficult. So my hope is the forecast is true. That's just going to be cloudy this evening. This stuff will get blown out, and then it's going to be clear for the next 3 days. Or who knows, maybe the 4-day forecast of clear sunny skies got blown apart, and some jet stream shift has now brought some storms that were not originally forecast. I don't know. My hiking for the day is done. It's about 6:10, so I was able to get 24 miles. I left East Glacier around like 7:25 or 7:30. I was able to go over both passes. It was a lot of elevation. I think the second pass was like 2,000 feet of elevation. It could have been a little bit more. And the first one, I think, was definitely more than 2,000 because I was coming out of East Glacier. And I can't remember the elevation of East Glacier, but I think it's lower than Two Medicine. So I was able to get into camp at a reasonable time. I'm going to filter water. So there's a food preparation area and a food storage area that's separate from the campsite. So Glacier takes the grizzly bear stuff extremely seriously. So like I have to go over there to prepare everything. And then once I've eaten, I leave my food and all that kind of stuff over there. And then come back to camp. So I'm just going to set up my camp, filter my water, and then go cook and eat, and hopefully be in my tent at a reasonable time, like 7:30, because with the clouds, I don't know if it's gonna get dark before the 8 o'clock or 8:15 where it's been the last couple weeks. So that's where I am. I tried my darnest to not hike solo in Glacier. I spoke with two friends. I can't remember if I mentioned this in yesterday's video, day 148. I spoke with two friends when I got into town on Tuesday, and just used them as a sounding board, because at that point I felt like I was just going to be rushing through Glacier just to get these miles done, and Glacier was supposed to be a highlight. So at that point, like, I was thinking, go ahead and just step off the trail, save the 100 miles for next year, come back in August and spend 5 or 6 days exploring Glacier and enjoying the last bit of the trail. And my mind I slept on that decision, and my mind got changed primarily by myself. Like, I just was like, hey, you can go to Chief Mountain Terminus, get a shuttle back to East Glacier and grab the Amtrak out, and it's 4 days to hike that stuff, and then you can come back next year and hike to Waterton. So my mind shifted, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna hike this stuff. I'm going out Thursday, because I took a 0 on Wednesday, and the weather was garbage, so I delayed another day, and that allowed hikers to catch up with me, and that also allowed me to try to hike through Glacier, not on my own. I did leapfrog with one CDT hiker today. Unfortunately, his permit has him camping, I think, 2.5 miles before my camp spot here. I checked the website before I left East Glacier, and there's supposed to be a couple other people like camping in this campsite, but I don't know if they're going to bail because of the nasty weather, and I don't know if they were CDT through hikers or if they were just people coming through in for the weekend or whatever it was. I did pass a few day hikers, but they're all going back to Two Medicine to stay tonight. They all have campers and that kind of stuff. So hopefully a couple people show up. If not, I'm gonna prepare my food over there, keep my camp over here, keep them separate, do my best. And day 1 hiking, no bears, and hopefully the next 3 days will be the same, and hopefully tonight and the next 2 nights will be the same. The stress of hiking in grizzly bear country alone, it's just uncomfortable. The one through hiker that I crossed today, I asked him about if he'd seen any bears in Montana, if he'd run into any bears today, that kind of stuff, and his attitude was an attitude of a lot of through hikers that I've talked to, because whenever I see a through hiker, I ask him about bears, and his attitude was, there's a big bear population in the park, they're doing whatever they're doing, if we run into them, we make noise and they run away. And I think this is where, when you do research, you realize that's not true. Like, bears especially grizzly bears, don't always run away, and surprising them is the primary, or one of the primary ways to be attacked. So I got my bear bell going, I'm yelling, "Yo, bear!" Like, no one else that I hiked by today was making noise, even though they're they have parties of 2 or 4 or whatever it is, which helps them, but they're not making noise. And the attitude of the bears are going to run away because that's what they've done so far. Like, I can't rely on that. I'm hiking solo. I I've already had a standoff with one either bear cub or a young bear that just got kicked out of the den, and I don't want to have any more standoffs, especially if it's an older bear who is bigger in size and thinks that, you know, they can take me. And I especially don't want to surprise any bears coming around a corner or something. So I'm gonna do the same stuff that I did through the Bob Marshall and the rest of Montana. Bear bell, yelling, trying to keep myself safe for tonight and 3 more days. So that's where we are. It is what it is, and I'll make the best of it. So boom. All right, everyone, thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you folks tomorrow. Bye.